Hi and welcome, I'm Casper and this is the third episode of my hard career for science and profit. And here we have Jebediah on the launchpad in a quite unusual craft, designed solely to fulfill these 5 contracts. The flight plan starts with the testing of the launch abort system provided by the MRS mod, and the primary stage of those solid rocket boosters will launch us up to the desired altitude and speed for the testing of the hauling of the TT-38K decoupler. And then once we've landed in the sea, we'll be testing the RocketMax brand decoupler and the Skipper liquid fuel engine and the MRS decoupler mini. The cost of this vehicle is around 22k, and as you can see on the contract window there, the contracts give us around about 50k, so it gives us a profit of 100%. To bring in extra money, Valentino here will be taking up a tourist provided by the Tourism Plus contract pack mod, and that adds in a series of tourism contracts, first being Tito Kerman wanting to ride into space and orbiting around the planet a couple of times. And it's a great opportunity to again do some more testing contracts and hauling contracts, and as you can see by the contract window up on the left hand side, it brings in a good bit of money, as well as bringing in the science from all those contracts. Unlike the stock tourist contracts, the Tourism Plus mod has time requirements that they have to spend in orbit, and at this low tech level I do not have the solar panels to replenish the craft's electricity supply, so that presents a problem. With TAC life support installed, the electrical supply will diminish over time even when the craft is not focused on, so we need something to replenish the electricity. There are 2 options I had here, the first being increasing the store of electrical power by adding more batteries. However, one of the mods I have installed, the UniversalStorage mod, adds in an alkali fuel cell, which is basically a hydrogen fuel cell which burns hydrogen with oxygen to create electrical power. And so I have one of these on board to provide all the power required. So while Valentina is flying Tito Kerman around the planet, I need to collect some more science. So as you can see here, I'm building a simple science gathering plane, and this will have 2 cockpits so that Jebediah can fly and keep the plane steady in flight, and also have Bob the scientist get out and collect and restore all the science experiments in both cockpits, as well as the new additions for 1.2, the science container things, which I'm putting underneath the wings to sort of act as engine mounts, and allowing the fuel to come from that central tank in the middle of the plane. And this allows me to keep the part count within the 30 limit. Oops, I forgot to check where the center of mass is in relation to those wheels. Oh well, I can still collect some science and try and take off. Alright, so this plane's not pitching up, so back to the space anchor I go and to fix that error. This little craft performed quite well, and I've managed to collect the science from the grasslands, the shores, and the KSC, as well as completing the 2 contracts of collecting EVA reports at those markers you saw, and also testing or hauling, I can't remember which one it was now, for landing gear in the air. The next 3 launches were to complete the bottom 3 of the contracts that you can see on the left hand side, and these contracts were high altitude survey missions, and the only way I could do this was by launching a rocket. To ensure that they were profitable, it had to be a cheap rocket. To complete that 4th contract, I'm going to roll out the science gathering plane again, and this time it's been modified a little bit. It's got a few extra rings to create a bit of extra lift, and this contract has markers that require reports done at below between 16 and 19 kilometers. So one of these jet planes is very suitable to carry out that task. And then at the same time I'm going to be doing some more science gathering from the different biomes that I'm going to be flying across. That was a bit of a bumpy landing. Oh well, I can still collect the science from this mountainous area, and it'll be a good opportunity to then go back and see what other contracts are available. So TAC gave me a warning that the resources on Valentina's vessel was running out, but after I loaded the vessel, the warning went away, so it seemed just like wanted to be focused. So I took the opportunity to go to the R&D and unlock some more nodes and see how much I actually needed for my target. That target being the Panther engine to allow me to fly the jet crafts at higher altitudes, so you can fly around the planet, get those higher altitude survey missions to bring in the money. So once again, Jebediah and Bob roll out onto the runway in the science gathering craft, and this is just going to be a 10 times sped up video of me spending ages collecting all of the science from the different biomes of the KSC. And as you'll see in the sequence, the The craft has to be touching the buildings to unlock individual building biomes, but this is just basically a great way of collecting that science at the beginning of the game. And as those buildings are upgraded, more biomes will be unlocked. And again, when the additional higher level science experiments are available, I'll have to do the same thing again. So I like to group it so that the time spent is the most efficient, shall we say. But this isn't the most interesting thing to do in the game or even to watch afterwards in this video, so that's why I've just cut out all the middles. Doing this, I got well over 300 science points, allowing me to select and purchase the Panther engine node, and then purchase the engine itself. And then I went through the node and selected the ones that I needed right away. So that's the electric node and the fuel systems node. And then I used the remaining science points to just purchase out all of the remaining lower nodes. And I think that'll be a good time to call this episode. So thank you for watching, and please join me next time for our next installment of A Hard Career for Science and Profit.